Alô? Boa noite, senhores. Finalmente liberaram o Laucher do beta. Senhores, tava muito ansioso por isso. Eu tô trazendo para vocês só para mostrar como é que tá a interface. Em comparação à outra, mudou bastante. Bem-vindos, senhores, ao New World. Há tempos e tempos no aguardo dessa preciosidade. E finalmente liberaram. Só mudar um pouco aqui, o som tá um pouco alto, o mic. Aí, musiquinha de abertura é muito da hora. Todos os créditos da Amazon eles liberaram pra gente fazer live do beta. Amanhã, a partir do 1h30 horário de Brasília, meio-dia e 30 aqui horário de Manaus, onde eu moro. Vamos fazer essa livezinha aí. E provavelmente, dependendo de quanto eu vou estar no vício, talvez de 72 horas. Vamos lá dar continuidade. E tem uns avisos sobre epilepsia, quem tem problema de epilepsia, né? Que existe um pouco de luzes estroboscópicas no jogo, então isso pode causar epilepsia. Essa é a interfacezinha deles. Deixa eu tirar esse topo aqui. Pra vocês verem melhor. Full. Pronto. Para quem vai fazer streamer no New World, tem uma opçãozinha aqui de conectar a conta da Twitch. Isso aqui não existia na versão beta passada. Isso eles implementaram agora. Existe. Eles vão te dar recursos exclusivos. Para quem vai fazer stream e quem está assistindo também. Vai ter destaque com o nome ao vivo no contador de espectadores. Exército de inscritos para quem ganhar sub. Recompensas e drop da Twitch. Quem estiver assistindo vai ter a chance de ganhar alguns drops voltados para o New World. Entenderam? Provavelmente seja leis, seja stream, talvez seja também íconezinho para colocar na Twitch. Ainda não dá para conectar, já tentei antes, tá no teste aqui e não dá. Então ele vai ter uma interatividade maior para quem for fazer, como eu, fazer stream na Twitch. Isso é um diferencial. Não existia na outra versão. Pô, a gente ainda não pode ver isso aqui, que isso aqui isso aqui já tá no site do New World. Quem quiser dar uma olhada lá em todos as news lá, que sempre sai novidade. Queria mostrar aqui para vocês a parte de configuração. Configuração de câmera, combate à distância, corpo a corpo. Corpo a corpo é quando tu tiver com uma espada, com um machado ou com uma machadinha. Não que a machadinha tu não consiga também jogar, que ela eu já vi vários reviews justamente do Lestat, ele jogando o Alpha e jogando a machadinha, né? Combate com bastão. Existe um bastão no New World para quem for jogar de mago ou quem fizer setup de mago, chamado bastão de azote. Ele vai ser muito útil para abrir portas, fazer as dungeons. Então vai ser de vital importância quem for fazer a build de mago. Como ter pesca, aqui são os botões de pesca, alojamento, Silvio, que eu não sei que diabo é isso, vamos descobrir junto amanhã. diálogo, chat, gestos. Primeira vez que eu tô. A interface ficou muito mais amigável agora. Era bem complexa na versão passada, no outro beta. E agora mudou bastante. Filtro de linguagem. Eles bloqueiam palavras impróprias no chat. Legenda. Ativa a exibição de legendas nos diálogos. Quando for falar com o NPC ou tiver alguma cutscene, vai aparecer o diálogo legendado. Notificação de conquista. Aqui você coloca automaticamente alta, baixa e média de acordo com a sua conexão. Latência. Isso aqui é para avisar se tiver problema na rede. Vou dar feedback. Jogabilidade. Visibilidade. Habilitar vibração da câmera. A vibração da câmera pode ser orientada para o jogo. Se levar um dano muito forte de machado, ou bloquear, o escudo vai como se fosse um impacto do dano no teu escudo, vai balançar e a câmera vai junto, entendeu? Então trazendo um pouco mais de realismo, eu acho que é isso. De atalho, todos os espaços de arma. Isso aqui é para habilitar as armas. Aqui embaixo vai ficar primária e secundária. As armas antigamente eram 3 armas, hoje só são 2. Dano flutuante quando tu bate ou recebe dano, vai aparecer próximo ao teu char. Duelo. Isso não tinha no outro. Foi implementado agora. Cura direcionada. Resolução. Meu tá tudo embaixo, que meu PC não é um PC da NASA, então vamos a princípio jogar com tudo baixo. Amanhã, conforme for a gente vai aumentando cada um e testando para ver como é que vai ficar, como é que o computador vai se comportar, como o computador não é tão bom para o jogo. Ambientação. Interação da Twitch. Existe um botão específico para a Twitch, nas configurações. É um filtro para daltonismo aqui. Texto para fala. Ative o texto para fala para mensagem no chat recebido. Interessante isso aqui. Vamos testar isso amanhã. É isso, queria trazer a interface para vocês, ver como é que tá bem amigável. Talvez essa seja só para a versão beta. Talvez exista uma outra versão que vai sair aí quando chegar o dia realmente do lançamento. E é isso. Quero mostrar uns videozinhos para vocês das Eles sempre liberam pra gente. Inclusive uns vídeos do Lestat falando sobre o último update que saiu.
O que é Eternum? A essência das lendas. O fervor da aventura. A glória do triunfo. Eternum é a vida eterna. E a morte encarnada. O que é eterno? As chamas da destruição, da cólera e do rancor. Eterno é a verdade por trás dos pesadelos. O que é eterno? Isso depende de você.
Eternum aguarda além de cada horizonte e atrai aventureiros de todos os locais e eras. Eles vêm e entre as ruínas dos anciões desvendam os segredos, a magia e os mistérios do passado. Neste novo mundo cruel, muitos se perdem, mas aqueles mais fortes e audaciosos podem obter a eternidade.
We're bringing the battle to Eternum in an all-new PvPvE mode, Outpost Rush. Jump in solo, or with up to 5 of your friends in a coordinated 20 versus 20 battle. Teams must coordinate and balance their time upgrading outposts, gathering resources, capturing objectives, and defeating enemies. When your team spawns into a match, you'll want to push forward and capture outposts to bring you closer to victory. Outposts can be upgraded, defended, and used as forward operating bases to drive the enemy back. Gather resources to support your team and keep your outposts well protected. Each outpost has features that your team can use to help you in battle. Upgrade your outpost's gate to keep the enemy team at bay. Spend resources to buy protection wards, creating a respawn point at your outpost. Build repeater turrets and vats of burning oil to rain fire down on the other team and repel their attacks. Create a command post to inspire your team, making them stronger and more resilient. But defeating the enemy isn't the only way to win. Outpost Rush has plenty of other objectives too. Build cannons and give your team the edge in an outpost siege. Summoning circles give players a chance to summon some of Eternum's most fearsome creatures to fight on their side. Collect Azoth Essence to make an offering to the corrupted portal. If your team sacrifices enough essence, you'll be rewarded with a powerful advantage. Throughout the match, Baroness Hane appears. If your team can manage to defeat her, they'll be granted an immensely powerful buff that can help turn the tide of battle. Defeating the Baroness also freezes the other team's score, giving you a chance to catch up if you're behind, or put the final nail in the other team's coffin. There are so many ways to win an Outpost Rush. Collect resources for your team, lay siege to enemy outposts, and capture map objectives. Victory means reward in gold and treasure. The bigger the victory, the bigger the reward. There's so much to discover in New World, and Outpost Rush is only the beginning. We'll see you in Eternum.
Beyond the relentless rain of Morningdale and the pervasive stench of reek water, the bright open spaces and fantastical colors of Eden Grove should be a welcome breath of fresh air. But these northern reaches are also the most hostile regions of Eternum, and only the most experienced explorers should consider venturing here. While there are 2 small outposts available to brave adventurers, this region of Eternum remains mostly unsettled. To the south, you'll find Valor Hold, where Prospector Delgado will direct combatants to Outpost Rush. A treacherous walk along a twisting road high in the mountains will take you to Last Stand Outpost. Once there, Innkeeper Golding always has a warm bed ready for any weary traveler. As you adventure through Eden Grove, you're likely to be drawn to the Tower of Malevolence near the center of the region. This enormous, imposing structure is protected from all sides by dryads, and you'll need to keep your wits about you when fighting them off, lest you fall from the stone walkways to your untimely demise. Venture to the forest below, and among the fascinating fauna and twisting trees, you'll find the Garden of Genesis, the very heart of the Angry Earth's territory. The dryads here aren't particularly hospitable, and you'll need a strong, experienced adventuring party by your side, and more than a few blight tinctures in your bag before you even think about entering. Those who plan to press further into the north will need to cross through Preservation Pass, a truly incredible feat of stonework high in the mountains. The path to this point is fraught with danger, and you may want to make camp at the base of its stairs to gather yourself before you attempt the climb. The dryads aren't the only creatures you'll face down in Eden Grove. The blight is spreading throughout the land, and you're sure to come across infected Angry Earth creatures in your travels here. If the blight doesn't get you, vicious creatures like bears, lions, and alligators certainly will. But for all its deadly creatures, Eden Grove is one of the most eye-catching regions in all of Eternum. Tall, white, bespeckled trees with vibrant red leaves fill the north of the territory, and the deep forests to the west sparkle with greens and blues unlike anything else you'll see. So, while Eden Grove may be a tough territory to survive in, it's little wonder explorers are pushing further into it. The local plant life has to be seen to be believed, and it's home to truly astounding ancient stonework that scholars will ponder over for years to come. Keep your armor repaired and your blades sharp, and you'll find Eden Grove has plenty to offer. At the furthest known reaches of Eternum lies Shattered Mountain, the ultimate summit for any adventurer to tackle. Eternum's Dark Crown is a vast, splintered mountain range, awash with corruption. Heading north from the Great Cleave, travelers can choose to venture through the grey wastes of the Carved Lanks to reach the meager settlement of Mountain Home, or face dangers and almost certain death in the corrupted fortress of Caminus. The Red Fortress is filled with cruel and merciless blood-forged enemies who would rip you in half on sight. These enemies are infused with powerful magic, and only the most seasoned of fighters will be able to best them. For those who enter the Shattered Lands from the eastern region of Eden Grove, the first settlement you will come across will be Mountain Rise Outpost. This bare-bones rest stop will provide you a valuable respite from the elements and a chance to brew some much-needed corruption tinctures before heading north into the craggy labyrinth of Shattered Mountain. Northwest of Mountain Rise lies the Blighted Wilds. Look out for a body of water near the hidden strain to meet Master Fisherman Bernard, but try not to get eaten by wilted wolves along the way. Continue north and you will reach Rotfellow Hovel, a cursed cave home to some of the foulest beasts in Eternum. Keep your wits about you, as you'll scarcely be able to see a thing in this dark cavern. To the northwest of Mountain Home, you will find the Scorched Mines. Fight your way through Ambusti Inferia to explore the mines and find the terrible secrets buried in their depths. Just make sure you have an exit route in mind. Navigating the twisted pathways of this wretched place is easier said than done. Keep heading northwest and you'll see a burning pyre, signifying the desolate cliffs and the mortal mire that lies beyond. The corruption has taken much of the wildlife in the area, resulting in some ruthless beasts that would strike fear in the heart of the world's most seasoned hunter. Continue north, and you will encounter the Fallen Frontier. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. This vast wasteland is riddled with corruption. This is a great place to hone your battle skills, but don't expect much rest. The corruption here runs long and deep, and you will be hard-pressed to find a suitable camping spot among the carnage. When you are ready for your greatest challenge in Eternum, head to the Merkgard, the crown fortress of Eternum, now a hellscape of fearsome beasts and murderous corrupted humans. Equip yourself with the best gear you can find and recruit some allies before entering this terrifying frontier. The challenge will be immense, but the reward will mark you as one of the finest adventurers Eternum has ever known. If you've traveled this far, then you're surely ready to face whatever trials and tribulations lie ahead. Now, go forth and make your mark on Eternum. Today we travel to the boggy swamps of Reekwater, a lonely place haunted by treachery and death, and named for its pervasive, sickeningly sweet stench. Entering Reekwater from the west, you will stumble into Mosswater Bog, a dark, dank fishing village, home to some of the most bloodthirsty lost in Eternum. Inexperienced travelers accidentally crossing from Windswood should tread carefully, as these restless souls will tear an unwary wanderer limb from limb. Head further east and you'll arrive at the region's main settlement, Reekwater Hamlet. Those that have taken up residence in the region have built their homes high in the twisting trees and branches, and you'll need to keep a close eye on your map if you want to safely navigate this labyrinth. Take some respite from the harsh wastelands at the inn. Craft yourself some strong gear at the tool stations, and when you're ready, head over to the town hall to see how you can help out. Headman Onizaka is desperately seeking assistance for dealing with the Siren Queen, thought to be the source of Reekwater's unrelenting haunts. You should give Onizaka's proposal some serious consideration before setting out, however. The Siren Queen has set up her throne in the spire of Melpomene, and you'll have to wade through an army of lost to reach her. To the south of the region, you'll find Reekwater Fort, one of the most imposing and well-protected structures across Eternum. Turrets line almost every wall of this place, and invading forces will need to make use of the plentiful cover if they want to get within shooting distance of it. But the rear of the fort appears to have a few weak points that could be exploited by some intrepid attackers. If you're traveling the north of Breakwater Hamlet, look out for the Eternal Pools. This area is home to some awe-inspiring architecture, along with an army of dryads who will stop at nothing to keep you out. Approach the Eternal Pools from the south, and you'll find what our explorers have called the Lazarus Instrumentality Expedition. You'll need to gather a strong party of warriors to take this on, but the treasures that lie beyond its gates will surely be worth your efforts. Evil spirits may dominate much of Breakwater, but its wildlife can be just as lethal. To the south, you'll find lush wilds, home to a bounty of wildlife. Be particularly cautious of the Myaloops, which will chase you to the ends of the earth to take you down. Even the goats here can become exceptionally violent when provoked. It's not all death and dryads, however. Explorers in search of something even more exotic should search Lambent Muskeg, an otherworldly oasis with luminous flora and fauna, most of which wants you dead. But the true treasures of Breakwater lie in its vast rivers, swamps, and beaches, where the bravest of fishers have found treasures incomparable to the rest of Eternum. Grandmaster Fisher Machera may be able to tell you more if you can convince him that you're worthy of his time. And if you do find yourself in search of fish, bring a sturdy pair of boots. There's no doubt that Breakwater holds some of the harshest country in all of Eternum. But for those willing to wade through the swamps and dryads, there are plentiful treasures to get your hands on, with rare plants to harvest and plentiful fishing spots to cast your line at. You certainly won't go empty-handed, if you're ever able to leave, that is. Welcome, traveler, to the world of Eternum. Your journey here may have been fraught with danger, but you're safe now on solid ground. Join us as we take you on a tour of some of the most important locations in Eternum. Meet some of the inhabitants, both friendly and not so friendly, and advise you on how to put your best foot forward in this strange land. Towards the south of Eternum lies Windswood, a lush
Valeu pelo follow,
grassland
brother. Vou
filled
seguir
to the
sim.
brim
Vou
with
seguir sim.
natural
Tem outro
resources.
brother que vai
Whether
fazer
you're
live também
gathering wood
comigo
for the
aí, o
fire,
Felipe.
stone for the
Inclusive ele
smithy,
tá até
or
assistindo a
water
live
for your
aí.
food, Windswood will provide.
Vamos cair dentro aí.
Your
Se
first
quiser
port of call
ter
in Windswood
testezinho
will be the
aí,
main
a gente se
settlement.
encontrar no
It's a
jogo
small
aí.
town situated near the
Vamos
center of
fazer
the region with a small
uma
river
equipe aí
cutting through the middle.
pra gente fazer as
To the
quests
north
e
of the
tal.
river, you'll find the forge
Explorar
and
mundo novo
outfitting
aí.
stations to
Valeu.
craft new melee weapons and clothes. Make sure to check in with Magistrate Kurapati while you're there. She's proud of her settlement, and she'll want to meet any new visitors. If you need a place to rest your head, make sure to check into the Southern Breeze, Windswood's inn to the south of the town. Innkeeper Suen is happy to take in all travelers. You'll also find a tannery on this side of the river, just down from the workshop, where you can craft your own ranged weapons or make some furnishings for your home if you prefer. The peace and tranquility of Windswood town may be tempting, but adventure awaits beyond its walls. To the north of the town lies the Amrine Temple, a mysterious hub constructed by the ancients, surrounded by giant, mysterious stone spheres. There are rumors of great treasure within, but even greater foes guard it. New arrivals to Windswood would be wise to steer clear of this place. Do stop by and say hello to Barkamedes, however. The poor hound seems a mite lonely and would surely benefit from some quality time with a kind traveler. For those less interested in ancient mysteries and are instead looking for a chance to prove their might, the Windswood Fort lies to the northwest of the region. Here is where you will engage in all-out war for Windswood as rival factions battle for control of the land. Those defending the fort will find the main gate heavily fortified with enormous repeater and ballista turrets to cut down your enemies. Be aware of the rear of the fort, however. There are fewer turrets to defend with and several small entryways for aggressors to slip through, so make sure your allies are keeping their eyes on all corners. And watch out for invading forces approaching from the nearby Octan's monolith, as it could spell death to defenders. But, as with all of Eternum, a darkness lurks here. You'll also find many farmsteads scattered throughout Windswood, but be wary. These farms have long since fallen to soulless creatures known as the Withered. Pay close attention to the regurgitators among their ranks, which will throw poisonous bile at you from a distance. And avoid straying too far to the edges of the territory, where the corrupted are gathering in great numbers. The local wildlife isn't much friendlier. Hunters will find rabbits, elk, and bison roaming the land, which will make for a fine meal. But tawny wolves stalk the forests to the north, while deadly pumas prowl the caves of the south, and neither take kindly to strangers. And if you want to explore the ancient pastime of angling, be sure to speak with Master Fisher Shields, who can be found casting his line not far from the Windswood settlement. Windswood may be a space of natural beauty, but it hides many mysteries and dangers. Take heed of our guidance, however, and you should be more than equipped to deal with whatever may stand before you. Whether you're gathering wood for charcoal or animal hides for leather, we'll see you out in the fields of Eternum.
It is an eternal island of legend, a place of unimaginable beauty, and a growing evil, where the forces of death and life are in constant conflict. For centuries, many have come in search of its power.
Do you really want to live forever?
Only to fall to its corruption.
The young.
Lured by the promise of power and immortality, the darkness will claim you.
Do you really want to live forever?
They say that only the incredibly brave or incredibly foolish make their home in Morningdale. It's a region where rain is a constant companion. And if sodden boots aren't enough to slow you down, then the wretched creatures that stalk its many ruins will surely hinder you. Yet, in spite of its dank, dark atmosphere, there is beauty to be found here. From the enormous, extravagant statues greeting sailors at New Balefire to its unique flora and fauna, Morningdale hides many of its treasures, and only the dedicated explorers will unearth everything there is to see. Your first stop in the territory will surely be Morningdale Hamlet, a small settlement in the center of the region. Despite the many trials and tribulations the land presents, just ask survivalist Fletcher, The people here have built a home for themselves, with plenty of houses available if you want to start your own life here. Morningdale Hamlet is an oasis in a vast region of torment, and you should spend your time in these ruined walls, gathering equipment and preparing yourself for the wilds beyond. There are tools available for those who wish to craft their own gear, or you can check in at the trading post if you've got the coin to spare. Venture south of the hamlet and you'll uncover some of the many ancient ruins that the region is known for. Now flooded by the endless rain, the ruins of Sabra, Masik and Karaka fascinate explorers and scholars alike. But tread carefully, as ancient guardians will do all they can to preserve and protect these landmarks from interlopers. To the southeast is Morningdale Fort, built on the beach to provide cover from both the land and sea. Any invading factions will need to control this location, but it won't be easy to take down. There's very little cover on the beaches and a hill to climb without getting cut down by turrets. May the winds blow in your favor. Venture up the eastern beaches to the north of Morningdale and you'll come across New Balefire, an imposing port with extravagant sculptures looking out across the sea. This port of the ancients is now overrun with corrupted, and the stonework has been worn away from combat. So be sure to watch your step, lest you fall into the dark waters below. Gildan seems to know something about this port. Perhaps she can tell you more. You'll also notice ancient towers across the territory, but only the bravest of warriors will want to get within a stone's throw of Scorpius. The corrupted have also made a home for themselves here, and they'll fight tooth and nail to keep you out. With the ancients and corrupted battling for a stronghold across Morningdale, you're likely to encounter their kind wherever you set foot. But you'll also need to be wary of the bears in the forests and even the boars on the main roads. Each is as furious and deadly as the last. It can also be quite hard to see what's ahead with the driving rain that this region is known for. Keep your eyes keen, and if you must make camp, ensure you've got a roof over your head. So, why venture into this forsaken landscape if all that faces you is death and dirt? There's also talk of weirdwood trees across this patch of land, though only expert loggers will know how to harvest the mysterious wood and sap from this particular plant. No matter how you look at it, Morningdale remains a fascinating area of Eternum to explore. Its ancient ruins and impressive stone structures are as awe-inspiring as they are daunting, and those that have chosen to live here have carved a charming home out of a demanding territory. If you're prepared to fight through the rain and the corrupted, perhaps you too could find a new life in Morningdale.
Fala pessoal, tudo bem? Aqui é o Lestar e bem-vindos a mais um conteúdo do canal. E hoje eu vou mostrar para vocês o assentamento de Ebon Scaly Ridge, o novo território do New World. Então se você é novo por aqui, se inscreva para você não perder nenhuma novidade sobre o jogo e outros MMOs, entre outros jogos online que eu trago aqui no canal. Me acompanha também nas lives na Twitch TV, aqui todas as noites eu faço um conteúdo para você. Esse território foi uma adição única da Amazon, eu digo única no sentido de diferente de tudo que você já viu aí, que você já jogou dentro do preview. Às vezes você jogou só no preview e não sabe de todas as novidades que tem, então tem uma playlist aí com vários vídeos para você conferir. Então talvez você não viu nenhuma adição ou nenhuma transformação aí dos territórios e a diferença entre cada território. Porém, acredito que Ebon Scaly Ridge será um dos territórios mais cobiçados entre as companhias de sucesso. Lembrando que teve uma atualização e eles já tinham informado sobre isso, que as cidades seriam reformuladas, seriam melhoradas. Então se você for para Rickwater, se você for para outra cidade, você vai ver que uma cidade é diferente da outra já. Mesmo que você tenha aí várias casas para você alugar, vários lugares para você fazer as bancadas parecerem as mesmas, mas você tem aí uma diversificação
Oi. Então, crianças, amanhã, 12h30 mais ou menos, 1h30 de Brasília, nós temos aí um encontro marcado para desfrutar dessa nova empreitada aí. Vamos nessa. Amanhã a gente tá aí. Tá eu e o Felipe jogando aí, fazendo testes. Como a gente não jogou o Alpha, vamos fazer o possível aí, mano, pra gente fazer uma live top, né, Felipe? Felipe tá aí, ó. Vamos na espera, mano. Com 2 anos de espera já. Até que enfim, a gente agora vai. Falou. Amanhã a gente tá aí. E é isso. Não sei como eu esperava. Tô fazendo o teste ainda. Isso é tudo pra amanhã, hein, Felipe? Teste. Como, não sei pra onde vai ficar a web ainda. Não sei onde é que tá a posição das coisas no jogo. Porque de lá pra cá mudou pra caramba. 1 ano, né? E é isso. Já dei uma ajustada aqui no Stream Deck. Pra tirar a web. Colocar a web. Fechar o mic. Abrir o mic. E soltar. Só amanhã pra saber. E soltar a vinheta. Amanhã a gente tá aí, Felipe. Não esquece de entrar no TS lá pra gente fazer um teste, pra te dar registro. E é isso aí. Fui!